back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. We're gonna do a reading, okay? We're gonna go with the yin yang today. So what's up? The fuck is up? Alright. My cats broke my ring light yesterday, the one I liked, so I had to go on Niles. Get a new one. It's very fall morning today. Okay. Like half the deck just fell, but Party External is like coming out. Then we have Freedom Leap Opportunities and Control Tactics. We have Disharmony and Triggers that's peeking out right here. And Control or Conflict. Career Contracts Commitments. Okay. Literally like a lot. I'm not gonna take all of that big stack. I'll take these. Okay. Well, I usually use this deck. I used to use it every day, so it hasn't been used in a while. It's very chatty. Alright. Oh, masculine energy. You fuckers. Alright. I don't know any other divine feminines that do help with the masculines. Literally, I don't. Everyone's like, fuck them. But I like to help y'all. Okay, so here we go. Divine masculine energy. Remember that energy is not anatomy. And if you're in your toxic masculinity, then you have work to do, which is what this is about. Alright, so are you, what, these two came out together, what's your ego doing? Okay, so our ego is this, like, our ego is this thing that we hide behind when we feel insecure. It is this mask that we put on when we feel unworthy. Our ego is something that needs to be balanced. Wait, why am I talking about the ego? That's Party External. Oh, I thought that was the ego card. Okay, well, that's important anyway. When our ego is triggered, we usually do things to other people, again, because we're feeling unworthy, we're feeling inadequate, we're feeling some sort of shadow aspect that makes us need to step deeply into our ego. And that can look like partying external. The ego is the one that searches for external validation regardless of, like, everything, right? There were some times when I had to tell my husband to, like, there's this one time we were in some sort of argument, and I looked at him, and I've said this in a reading before, but this was the first time I said it was to this man. And I said something about how he wasn't going to fit out the door because his head was so fucking big, right? Which is a saying that people use for when your ego is inflated, right? Like, you have a big head, right? But I also said, I was like, okay, take a deep breath and, like, swallow. Like do a big gulp, right? And he did, and I was like, okay, you just swallowed your ego, or you just swallowed your pride, so, like, calm your fucking tits, okay? Anyway, the ego shows up in control tactics, in finding some sort of external validation, it's because you're triggered by shit because you haven't worked through your own stuff, right? You haven't acknowledged your own shadows or pain or the harm that you've caused on others. And so we all have an ego, so we get to, like, present, and the ego is usually how people present to the world, and it's usually fake as fuck, because the healing work actually needs to get done, right? Okay, moving on from these three. So this is a process. It's a process. So what seeds are you planting? Well, first let's do this. This is the only other shadow aspect here. which is contracts, career, commitments. Up here it says until debt tear us apart. So what are you stuck in? Now, this could be something external to you that you feel oppressed by, and then you kind of turn around and do it to others because it's how you've been, right? I mean, that's like the cyclical nature of stuff, right? And we have this cycle of in this completion. So I think recognizing that there is an imbalance is the first step. And that imbalance is, how much am I going out? How much am I doing these things, right? Shadow aspects can be, I mean, I'm not saying you have to, like, join a fucking nunnery or any fucking thing. You don't have to, like, take a blood oath to be celibate for the rest of your, you don't have to do anything fucking crazy. But just acknowledge, like, where your moderation is a little more not moderate. In regards to drinking, drug use, sex, porn, gambling, things, those behaviors, eating even. Eating was one for me. I've suffered with an eating disorder forever, and it's hard for me to eat. But now that I know I'm autistic, I don't know why I'm talking about myself. Now that I know I'm autistic, it's easier for me to be like, I don't like food. I just have to eat this because I have to on this planet. That's what we have to do. So thinking about that, if it's not bread, I don't want moving on. Thinking about, I don't know why I'm so, like, one-liner today. I'm in, like, this dad energy. Anyway, cycles of completion require change, bitch. What changes do you need to make? That's the first step of taking inventory, right? Alright, now we're going to move on to these seeds. That's the steps that you can take to really recognize. Just do your inventory. I've put up plenty of playlists about how to heal and how to do inventory and how, prompts for you to start with. They're just a starting point. Everyone's journey is different, so start there, and then as you're in that process, your mind, this works, is going to come up with more things that are, like, specially for you, right? Like, one question is going to trigger another question and another question, and the whole point is to go within and go deep. You don't have to do this publicly. You don't need to make videos about it or, get behind a podium and make a big speech. I say this all the motherfucking time. You don't have to do that. Just do it for you. When I did my process, when I started my process, because I think I'm always doing this process now, every time I interact with another human, including my son, and the animals actually as well, anytime there's another being around me, I have a moment of self-reflection of, like, was I a dick? So, I don't know. Starting point, okay? Did they deserve for me to be a dick? Okay. Uh-oh, I lost my shoe. Where is it? Okay. Alright. We're in. Okay, so we have nurture and compassion. Be nice to yourself, okay? Be nurturing and compassionate to yourself, but be open to receiving your truth, right? And that's gonna come as you work in this process. Oh, it's right here. It's gonna come. It's gonna come through messages. It's gonna come through communication. The universe communicates in fun ways. Make sure you don't go into spiritual psychosis. That's a very real thing. But when you ask, or when you're working alongside the universe, whatever you believe in, I don't have any universal cards here, like divine intervention or higher self-activation. I think I'm going to make a collective coffee about the higher self. I was thinking about that. There was another one. Higher self-activation. Alright, I've got my list here. Anyway, license plates, songs, random ass people saying really weird shit to you. Now, I think in these days of surveillance, there's a fine line between state-sanctioned messages and universal messages. So be very specific with whatever it is you believe in on how you want to receive your messages. That's also how you're going to stay grounded in your own reality. So like I had a request. I said to my spirit team, I was like, show me in branches. And so I've been having this fun little scavenger hunt with branches for the past few weeks. And I was actually hanging upside down in my aerial swing the other day, and this tree that's in my yard, I looked up and there was a big heart. Like the branches were making the shape of a heart. And I was like, oh, that's cute. But like there's letters all over my yard, because I asked for letters. So every time I go out there, I'm seeing new letters in branches, like in sticks. You know, there's an L or an N or a C or an R, you know? And so that's just how I wanted to get clarification about something. So be very specific with what it is you believe in, about how you want to receive clarification or messages or support, okay? Otherwise, speaking from experience, too much input can cause you to kind of short circuit, right? Like, think about your technology. I don't really like making a parallel between humans and technology, but I think we're in that space right now in the world. So think about if you were to download too many apps at one point in time. First of all, it's going to take fucking forever, right? You're going to be waiting, okay? So remember, this is an analogy for how to communicate with the universe. So ask for little things at a time, right? I've always been in communication with my spirit team, like, forever. And one of the ways that I usually communicate is songs, like on the radio. Now I listen to CDs because I don't need clarification like that. But sometimes I'll play the game, right? For instance, when we were off grid, this is a funny story. So when we were off grid, I had to go to Walmart one day, and Walmart is out of town, and I was having like this crazy issues with my fucking car, and I was so nervous because we had to drive off, you know. This was before we knew what the problem was. There was a giant crack in my antifreeze container, which is why my car kept overheating. Okay, so I have a new antifreeze container, but there's another leak and my car sucks. Anyway, I don't like driving. So I was so nervous, and my dad is my number one spirit guide, so I was like, hey, let me know I'm protected. And he used to send me hawks. So hawks are a big thing for him. Whenever I see a hawk, I recognize that as my father communicating with me. And remember that this kind of, wow, we're like really going on this tangent. This communication can really, evolve as your spiritual journey, continues, right? But if you're like just starting to recognize like your problem areas or things that you can work on, or you know that you even have an ego, or like, oh my god, I'm such a fucking douche, right? Like if you're just starting to realize that, take it easy. So anyway, take it easy. That's the whole point. Take It Easy is that song about Winslow, Arizona. Take it easy. We're standing on the corner of Winslow, Arizona, and that's where I had to go. But that's not the song that played on the radio, though. It was the song from Cars. When Lightning McQueen is in the back of Mac before he gets like fucked over and left in Radiator Springs, there's that song. In what is it? It's something about that song. You know what I'm talking about, though. And that song started playing like right when I got on the highway to go to Winslow. And so I was like, okay. That for me was clarification that I was going to be okay. All right? Because now I was like super into cars at that time. And so it was just like, okay. That's what I needed to know, that we were going to be okay. Right? So again, whatever. I know that was a long story. But like, I stay in constant communication with the other realms. So if that's something new for you, that's some of the ways that it can show up. You can ask for song clarification. Don't be too specific. Allow room for magic, okay? So don't be like, I need to hear I'm really not able to think of a song right now. I'm getting something by Aerosmith. That song from Armageddon. I don't know. So like maybe you're asking about a romance situation and you're like, I need to hear I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith at 11:34 to know that this is my person. No, don't do that. That's way too specific. Just ask for a sign and allow the sign, allow it to show up for you. So maybe it's not Aerosmith's I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. Maybe it's Fuck No Girl, That's Not the One. Some sort of song with that lyric or something. And that's just not the message you want to receive. Okay, so there's that as well. And remember that everyone has free will. So whatever this situation is about, don't just worry about yourself, okay? Because those were two different examples. Letting me know that we were going to be safe in our travels versus whether or not someone is your person or not, or if they're going to make a move, right? So either way, don't put too much control on the way that you're going to receive messages. Oh my god, moving the fuck on. The last two cards we have freedom, opportunities, and leap. And we have this, what is that word say? Epiphany and breakthrough. So, this is where we want to be, okay? And so from coming from this energy to this, we had to lose some people, right? But maybe these people weren't the right people for us, which is why we feel so fucking free. And we're not stuck in these cycles of abusing ourselves, by seeking external validation from a bunch of douchebags, right? To being free. You know, there was this really fun time. Why am I being called to share this? There was this fun time that my family and I, we went to some sort of, my dad was super into NASCAR, and we lived in Wisconsin, so I think we drove to Michigan for a NASCAR or something, I don't know, or maybe I don't know, but we were on the shores of Lake Michigan, and my parents were very strict, very religious, very much, I mean, there's a reason I am the way I am. I am whatever you say I am. Anyway, and they pulled over, and my dad was like, he was such a fucking ass. He was such a stern man. I mean, I love him now, but I would not be the person I am today if my father, I would not. But anyway, we pulled over, and he was like, let's go swimming. Like, we didn't have our swimsuits or anything. This was like, I remember this so vividly because, first of all, the water was very warm. And it was so much fun. It was like literally the most, what is this word? Free? No. It was like such a, it was so out of character for my dad to be like, let's do this. What is this word? It's on the fucking tip of my brain. What is this? Oh my god. Please hold. Improv? It's a word similar to improv, but that's not the word. I'm gonna think of it right after I'm done with this reading, but you know what I mean. It was just like, what is this fucking word? Maybe if I do this, it'll come. Anyway, it was just so out of character. He was like, let's just go swimming in the lake, right? And we had so much fun. It was like the best side quest ever. But it was not common for us to do things like that at all. I mean, it was common for my dad to like pull over and pick up trash on the side of the road, especially aluminum cans, because he would take them in for money. He would literally do that. Like, it's funny because why am I doing this walk down memory lane right now? The first time I was arrested, it was while I was walking around picking up litter. I'm just trying to help the earth. And they were like, actually, you're breaking and entering. And I'm like, well, do they really need it if it's in their storage unit? I was trying to mail that. I was trying to Robin Hood it, all that shit to Africa. Anyway, so whatever you... psychosis is a thing. So be careful with psychosis and communication. Wow. That word still isn't coming. I think it starts with an A. Anyway. This is what we're talking about. So maybe do something freakishly out of character to kind of trigger yourself into feeling like you can move differently, like you're not stuck, right? It's gonna really fucking bother me. Alright, let's get some cosmic messages to start with your messaging from the universe. Alright. Cat. I can see the word, but I can't think of it. A little bit of faith goes a long way. Remember that. Okay, so that's faith in whatever it is you believe in. That's faith in yourself. That's also faith in your higher self. Remember your higher self. We're going to do a collective combo on that. I'll try and get that done today. Your higher self is the part of you that doesn't have to deal with these worldly things. Stop looking outside of yourself for answers. You already know them. So maybe you have been doing a lot too much of the asking for clarification. And maybe maybe it wasn't the answer you wanted, or maybe it was the answer you wanted, but it feels impossible to like reach that destination for you. Maybe you have to do a lot of work on yourself. I mean, if you're in the masculine collective, which is pretty much who this, I mean, we all have masculine in us, especially under patriarch, the masculine energy within us has a lot of, so like the masculine energy within us under patriarch is like the oppressive energy, whereas the feminine energy seems to be the oppressed energy within us, right? Because we're very not, I mean, no matter who you are, man or woman, femininity is under attack by the patriarch, right? You could use some self-care time, like now, bitch. Schedule it in. I added the bitch. Calm down. It was endearing. One more time, or one more. Stop ruminating over what you did or didn't do. Let it the fuck go. Have a good one.